The internet is full of strange, unsolved mysteries. But Reddit's digital detectives don't give up easily. From cryptic videos to bizarre websites, here are the wildest internet puzzles that Reddit users actually solved.
At 2:47 a.m., a trembling young woman sent a digital flare into the night sky, not to the police, not to the press, but to strangers on Reddit. Her message was raw, desperate, and terrifyingly real. "My sister is missing. The cops won't help. Reddit, you're my last hope." Lauren Freyr's apartment reeked of cold coffee and rain-soaked clothes. The dim glow from her laptop screen lit the shadows under her eyes. Outside, Seattle wept against her window, each drop tapping like an impatient finger. Her heart stuttered as she stared at the Reddit post she'd just published in RRBI, a photo of her sister Hannah, alive, vibrant, messy-haired and paint-fingered, smiling in front of a towering mural on Pine Street. Hannah was last seen 72 hours ago leaving Grind Coffee. Denim jacket, red Converse, gone. The police shrugged. Artists disappear sometimes, the detective had said, but Lauren knew her sister. Hannah didn't run. Not from family, not from her art, not from the truth. Within minutes, the thread caught fire. Seattle native 206 posted surveillance footage of Pine and Fifth. Hannah in frame, head low, checking her phone repeatedly. You, coffee shop regular, a barista from Grind, confirmed she looked spooked. Like she saw someone she didn't expect. Then came You, Data Digger. Hannah hasn't posted anything in over 60 hours. Her last Insta story, taken near Pioneer Square, 7:23 p.m. Then, digital silence. The subreddit became a hive of methodical chaos. Timelines were drawn, social media analyzed, street cams scoured, maps shared. Hannah's life was dissected in real time by people who'd never met her, but cared like she was family. For the first time in days, Lauren felt something like hope. Then the tone changed. Street art expert. Recognize that mural? Hannah's been documenting illegal demolitions downtown. She posted on Artists Unite saying she had evidence of corruption. Lauren's stomach dropped. She remembered Hannah's rant 2 weeks ago. City officials fast-tracking demolitions, artists evicted, shady developers. At the time, Lauren was too consumed with law school finals to listen. But Reddit was listening now. You legal eagle, 99 chimed in. City contracts worth millions, if she had proof of bribery. The implication hung in the thread like a noose. By day 2, the atmosphere turned electric with fear. Posts vanished, accounts deleted. You street art expert? Gone. Then came the message. Stop digging, or you'll vanish next. Lauren's blood iced. She posted the threat. RRBI erupted in fury. This wasn't just a search anymore. It was a battle. Reddit went underground, encrypted DMs, burner accounts, locked spreadsheets. You security guard 48, drop this. 3 suits asking about Hannah downtown, not cops, corporate, maybe private security. You Deep Throat 2024 followed up. One of Hannah's last photos shows a condemned building on First Ave. She tagged it subtly on Insta. Demolition starts Monday. Reddit formed a task force. Not officially, not legally, but with terrifying competence. A teacher in Portland, a coder in Toronto, a drone pilot in Chicago, strangers strategizing like it was a Black Ops mission. The plan: get into the building before demolition. Find Hannah's proof. Expose the truth. Sunday night, 11:09 p.m. Rain hammered the streets like war drums. Lauren stood outside the looming shell of a building with 3 Redditors she'd only known by username. You, Urban Explorer, PDX. You, camera geek. You, local student. Inside, the building groaned with age. Mildewed walls, rust-bleeding stairwells. Their breath fogged in the cold, air thick with rot and anticipation. On the third floor, behind a loose brick, they found it. A memory card, wrapped in plastic. A note, in Hannah's handwriting. If I'm gone, this proves Councilman Richards is laundering demolition money. Metadata has the account numbers. Share it. Make noise. H. Footsteps below. Heavy. Close. Run, whispered Urban Explorer, PDX. What followed was pure adrenaline. Reddit lit up. Users coordinated Dropboxes, live-tracked city IPs, blitzed the metadata to journalists, archived evidence in secure clouds. Lauren uploaded the files. 12:47 a.m. Post hits R. Seattle. 1:04 a.m. Trending on R. Politics. 1:36 a.m. Independent journalists join the fray. 3:22 a.m. City Hall denies everything. 5:59 a.m. The FBI confirms an investigation. 6:12 a.m. Councilman Richards is arrested at SeaTac Airport. And at 12:30 p.m., a knock on Lauren's door. Hannah. Alive. Exhausted. Hiding. The FBI had kept her in protective custody for days while confirming her evidence. She didn't tell Lauren, to protect her. 3 months later, Lauren watched Richards get sentenced. Hannah beside her, fingers still stained with paint, but Lauren's mind was elsewhere, on a new post in RBI. My brother's missing in Phoenix. Cops say he ran away. Please, help. She didn't hesitate. We're with you. Always. Reddit hadn't just helped find Hannah. It had revealed something more powerful than corruption, more enduring than fear. That strangers can become an army. That empathy can become infrastructure. That technology, in the right hands, becomes hope. Outside the courthouse, Seattle shimmered with light. No rain. Just streets full of stories waiting to be heard, and people finally willing to listen. The mystery wasn't Hannah's disappearance. It was what happened when people decided to care. Lauren looked down at her phone. A new post was trending. Reddit saved my sister. Now it's your turn. And so, the ripple spread. Not a cry in the dark anymore. A chorus. Nathan Williams was halfway through his lukewarm coffee when the notification hit his phone with a soft chime that felt far too gentle for what it carried. Subject: Urgent. Estate of Theodore J. Williams. The sender was a law firm in Salem, Oregon. Nathan had never stepped foot in Oregon. Uncle Teddy had died 15 years ago and had barely been more than a quiet shadow at 2 family reunions. Why now? The email read like fiction. Theodore had left Nathan his Victorian mansion, worth over $2.3 million. But there was a condition. Not legal red tape. Not taxes. A puzzle. He had 30 days to solve what the attorney called the grand design. If he failed, the estate would be handed over to charity. And that was it. The apartment suddenly felt colder. His toast burned, ignored in the background. Nathan stared at the screen. His uncle had made a game of death, and he was the chosen player. Buried in student debt, struggling to pay rent on a shoebox Boston apartment, Nathan didn't feel like someone who deserved a legacy, just someone trying not to drown. That's why, in a moment of exhausted hope, he posted on Reddit, "Our mystery. Inherited a mansion, but I have to solve my dead uncle's puzzle to keep it. I know it sounds fake. It's not. I need help." He expected mockery. Instead, he got a movement. Within hours, Nathan's story was wildfire across Reddit. Our Puzzles was analyzing old architectural prints. Our Paranormal dissected grainy images of the house's tower. A Salem local chimed in. "Locals call it the Riddle House. Your uncle was obsessed, reclusive. We thought he was building a trap." What started as a lonely mission turned into a crowdsourced hunt. Nathan would live stream everything. Reddit would decode. It was no longer just his puzzle. 3 days later, Nathan stood before the mansion, its Victorian spires slicing the overcast sky. He pressed the antique key into the lock. Creak! The door groaned open like the exhale of a buried secret. The air was warm and stale, tinged with vanilla, copper, and machine oil, like an old man's study soaked in time. The black and white marble foyer pulsed with optical illusions. When he stepped, the tiles seemed to shift underfoot. Chat, U pattern seeker. Fibonacci sequence in the tiles. U Salem local. 7th tile. Edge looks raised. He knelt, lifted the tile, beneath it, a brass compass. Its needle pointed not north, but toward the tower, etched on the face. The truth spirals upward. The puzzle had begun. Each room whispered secrets and patterns. In the library, books formed mathematical coordinates. In the parlor, shadows cast by chandeliers spelled numbers on the wall only at 3:33 p.m. In the study, behind a portrait of a distant ancestor, Nathan found the journal that shifted everything. Day 847. They think I'm mad, but I've encoded everything. Only the worthy will find the truth. This house is not the inheritance. The house is the filter. Theodore had been a Cold War cryptographer. This wasn't just a family game. It was a test crafted by a mind that once outwitted enemies for a living. The inheritance was still out of reach. But now, Nathan knew. It had nothing to do with money. 10 days in, Nathan had stopped leaving the house. He was pale, thin, wired from energy drinks and adrenaline. Redditors across time zones ran round-the-clock clue threads. Viewers surged past 20,000. In the basement, he found a mirror room built on impossible math, reflections warping endlessly. He stood in the center. Chat. Physics PhD. Those angles bend light into a hyperbolic space. Psych major. Get out, Nathan. Too long in there can mess with your perception. But in the reflection, he saw something no one expected. A photo of Theodore, standing in this exact place, holding a key shaped like a DNA helix. The back read, "The final secret is older than cryptography. Follow the spiral staircase where time moves backward." Everything led to the tower. The tower stairs defied logic. His GPS showed altitude dropping as he climbed higher. His nose bled. His ears popped. Time twisted. At the top, a circular room, walls lined with cabinets, birth records, death certificates, 6 generations of William's men. All had died at 62 years, 3 months, 17 days, except Theodore. He had died 1 day early, and on the desk, the DNA key. It opened a drawer. Inside, a hard drive, a note. The puzzles were the path. The truth is in here. You have a choice to make. The drive contained Theodore's life work, correspondence with geneticists, DNA mappings, experimental treatments. The pattern wasn't coincidence. It was a rare genetic heart condition killing their bloodline. The $50 million trust was real. And it was meant for one thing: to either cure Nathan or to fund research that could save hundreds more. Theodore's final video message played, recorded in the tower. The house was never the prize. You are. What you choose now determines what all of this meant. The live stream was silent. 80,000 viewers watched Nathan tremble over a keyboard. Chat, you med student. You could live. You bioengineer. Or others could. You Salem local. You've already proven who you are. He closed the laptop. 6 months later, the Riddle House had been sold. The Theodore Williams Foundation was real. Funded by the Trust, led by Nathan, headquartered at Johns Hopkins. They'd already cracked 3 more rare genetic conditions. Nathan, still at risk, lived on borrowed time. But he lived with purpose. His Reddit community evolved into the Theodore Society, a network of digital volunteers solving medical mysteries together. Nathan stood beneath the lab's skylight, watching sunlight spill over petri dishes that held the seeds of future cures. His phone buzzed. A message from you, Victorian expert. The real puzzle was never in the walls, was it? Nathan replied. No. It was in the question, what do we owe to people we've never met? And the answer he had learned was everything. End note. The greatest puzzles are the ones that teach us not what we can find, but who we can become while searching.